Let's walk through how to create the walls for your affordable housing design project. We're going to go ahead and start off by going to the wall command. And to start off with on our type, we're going to start off with a generic 8-inch wall. If this doesn't pop up automatically, you can always scroll through and find the generic 8-inch type here in the type selector. Once you have that selected, we're going to select edit type and making sure that you click the little preview button here that we can see what the wall composition is going to be made of. We're going to go ahead and select duplicate, and we're going to name this in all caps exterior wall, just so that way this stands out a little bit more from some of the other options in the type selector menu. We're going to go ahead and go to the structure and edit the structure. And in row 2, this is going to be our main structure area. So if I click inside the cell for the material, it says by category, and if I select the little ellipse button, I can actually choose an option. So if we want to search for softwood lumber, you'll see mine already kind of showed up there, but you can always search for it, select the material, select OK. And then we're going to be framing this outside wall by Habitat for Humanity guidelines. We're going to go with 2x6s, which means this is going to be a 5.5-inch thickness. And you're going to see that thickness is going to change here in the preview. We're going to go ahead and select the insert button. And we get a new row that pops in, row 2. I'm going to move this row up by selecting the up button to make sure that it is above the core boundary layer above the wrap. And I'm going to select insert one more time, so that way I have 2 of these. Now, the one that's in row 1, I'm going to go ahead and select on the function and change this to finish 1. And then in the material, I'm going to go ahead and select the ellipse tool. And if the template that you're following along with the one that I've provided, we will have this wood siding horizontal option. In a later video, we'll go through the process of how to change that material and kind of customize your finish on your house. So I'm going to go ahead and just select this for now and select OK. The thickness on this is going to be 3/4 of an inch. And then we're going to go ahead and move to row 2, still maintaining a structure function. I'm going to go ahead and set the material. And I'm going to go ahead and look for a plywood sheathing to put on this. The thickness of that plywood sheathing is going to be 7/16 of an inch. And then you'll see that layer start to appear once we have a thickness. I'm going to go ahead and insert one more row into this, and I'm going to go ahead and move it all the way down until it becomes row number 6. This is going to be finish number 2. And in the category here, we're going to go ahead and change this to a gypsum wallboard. And the thickness on this is going to be 5/8 of an inch. So you'll see again, there's the gypsum wallboard layer get added once we add that thickness in. This will finish out our exterior wall. I'll select OK. I'll select OK one more time. And now I can go ahead and draw in my exterior walls. I'm going to go ahead and draw in, just for an example of an exterior wall. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with just some walls here. I'm going to go ahead and draw the outlines of mine. Like I'll go by 20 foot. I'm going to go down about 38 here. Going to come over 16 or 13, I should say. Come down 6. Come over 13. Come up 40. I'm going to zoom in here just to kind of show you. Now that we're getting a little closer to being finished. You're going to notice it's drawing by the wall center line. And then I'm going to go ahead and connect this over until they go ahead and connect. So this is going to be the main outline of my house. All right, so when I select the walls, you'll see all of these will have the blue arrows on the outside. So that's the one thing we'll want to go ahead and notice. While we're here, I'm going to go ahead and select all the walls and change the top constraint to level 2, which is going to be a height of 8 foot, 1 1/8 of an inch. So if I go ahead and check out what this looks like in the 3D view, this should be what our current placement, at least, for what I've drawn. Yours is going to probably look a little different, but I'm just going to show just for an example, this is what the exterior walls look like. Okay. Before we move on here, I'm going to go ahead and go back to level 1. So, and I'm going to go ahead and grab all these walls and go ahead and just drag them here into the middle of the elevation markers that we have going on. And before we kind of start, our next component is we are going to go ahead and anytime we select a wall, you'll notice that look at the witness lines. They're always measuring to the centers of the walls. So I'm going to make one small change before we start to draw in our interior walls. So we're going to go up here to Manage. We're going to go to the little gear option, says the gear wrench option that says additional settings. And then we're going to go down to annotations and choose temporary dimensions. Rather than going to the wall center line, we're going to have it changed to the wall faces and then go ahead and select OK. So now if I select a wall, you're going to see that now, look at the witness lines. Now they're going to the faces on some of these. So you'll notice where they're kind of lining up. That's going to help us out quite a bit as we do our interior walls. So I'm going to select an exterior wall and I'm going to edit the type. We're going to go ahead and we're going to duplicate this one. We're going to go ahead and call this, instead of exterior wall 2, we're going to go ahead and change this to interior wall and select OK. Now I'm going to go ahead and edit the structure now that we've got it duplicated. We're not going to need this layer here, so I can go ahead and delete this. We do not need a plywood sheathing, but we will need a gypsum wallboard. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to gypsum wallboard and go ahead and have it match the same thickness as what it does, which is going to be a 5/8 of an inch, just like how we do on the inside. Now, on all of our interior walls, so here you'll see gypsum wallboard on one side, same thing on the other. And then for a lot of our interior walls, we're going to be framed with 2x4. So we're just going to go ahead and do 3.5 inch thick walls for these. So I'm going to go ahead and select OK. Select OK once more. And now when we go to set in, like for example, some of our interior walls, I'll go ahead and select interior wall. Again, the one that's all caps is the one we're looking for. Is now I can go ahead and I can kind of connect my walls here to create some of my interior ones. So maybe if I want to create a room like this, maybe we'll put like a little bathroom here, and then maybe we will pick up right about here and have another room on the other side where both of these are going to connect with this bathroom, let's say. Now, the thing is about this is like this wall here, I'm going to go ahead and choose the align command. I want to align to this outside edge and this here, so that way the walls are going to kind of line up nice and neat. And if we want to, we can lock them. Or the other thing too is I can always pick like this one and the outside of this wall if we want these to line up together. So the align tool is a very, very, very powerful tool for you to be able to utilize. Okay, now to be able to see some of the layers and everything, you're also going to see here this interior wall got changed. I can see it's a little thinner than the other one, so I'm going to go back and just set it to the exterior wall. But here's our interior walls in there to be placed. If we want to see, for example, the layers, we'll change our level of detail to fine. And then here you'll actually, when you zoom in, you'll see those layers kind of approach. And then if we, you needed to change any of the options, usually hidden line is where we're at. But if we go into realistic, you'll actually see the actual colors and layers being placed in. So I'm going to go ahead and change mine back to hidden line just because we get a lot of that in the 3D view. All right, our last component here is I'm going to actually select one of the interior walls. And the one I'm actually going to look for is this, probably this wall right here. I'm going to end up making this little area a bathroom, which means this wall is probably going to have to become a what they call a plumbing wall. So I'm actually going to connect this back to here, and I'll put in another little section of wall to finish off this room. But I'm going to go ahead and select this wall, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure the interior wall is selected. I'm going to edit the type, and I'm going to duplicate, and this one we're going to call plumbing wall. And plumbing walls, this is kind of later on in our project, but we're going to edit the structure. They are going to be 2x6 framed walls. So I'm going to go ahead and just change, all I'm going to do is just change this back to 5.5 inches for the softwood lumber layer. Select OK and select OK. They're framed a little thicker, so that way you can actually get pipes up through and have plenty of room to do that. So like here on this wall, if I want to draw another one, I can always right click on something and say create similar. And then I can go ahead and I'm just going to click and place this here. So then that way that we have that. Again, you're probably going to notice I've got this little kind of weird little, kind of jog here in my wall. Again, selecting a line, choosing where you want it to go, choosing this wall. That'll definitely clean that up a little bit and help you out there. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and go to the 3D view. You're going to notice these walls here, all the interior ones. I'll just hold Control and select all these. And let's go ahead and change this to connect to level 2. That way they're the same height. There should be the starting of your affordable home project, getting all the walls. I've only done a few. You're going to go ahead and finish out the rest of your walls there. Make sure you get them where you want them and get everything placed.